you're supporting Bernie. I am too, but we're going to go through this endorsement right now, Joy, and it's so inspiring. I got to tell you, we might switch teams. We have to be open to this. I mean, this endorsement, the local media in Iowa is, trying to do their part along with the rest of the corporate media to make sure Bernie's not the nominee and get a load of this endorsement. I mean, it really is inspiring. Joy, can you see the screen or am I just reading to you?
Yeah, I can see it.
You can? Okay, cool. So the Des Moines Register endorsed Elizabeth Warren. And here's the headline here, folks. Elizabeth Warren will push an unequal America in the right direction. Oh, I thought it just said to the right. I misread it. Sorry. So check this out. Here's the highlights here. Many of her ideas aren't radical. They are right. They're also Bernie Sanders' ideas, but that's okay. They're also watered-down versions of what Bernie Sanders proposed first. She must show that her vision will lift people up rather than divide them. She still needs to show that. Hasn't shown it yet. She cares about people. There's our bar. There's our bar for leader of the free world. People. Do you see them as ants or do you give a shit about them? If you give a shit about them, we'll endorse you. And she will use her seemingly endless energy and passion to fight for them. Right. Like we've seen so far. Like that time she said, hey, Bernie Sanders was cheated. No, just kidding. I don't want to stand by that. Like that time she said, I'm for Medicare for all. No, not really. Like that time she said, yeah, it's wrong for Hunter Biden to get $50,000 a month for doing nothing. Actually, no, I'm not sure. I need to ask my campaign what I think about that. Yeah, that passion, she'll bring that to us. This is my favorite line. Joy, I mean, this is when we're going to switch teams. Look at this. The outstanding caliber of Democratic candidates makes it difficult to choose just one. That's the problem everyone's having, Joy. There's so many amazing candidates. How do you just pick one? So many good ones.
It's true. You really have to weigh your options.
I mean, wow. This is like the participation trophy of endorsements. This is just like everybody's a winner. Everyone's such a winner, but we think Liz is the biggest winner. But they're all winners. They're all winners.
A fourth place, but a strong fourth place.
Yes. Well, here's the best part. Speaking of that guy, Pete Bull, judge. Each of the remaining candidates campaigning across Iowa ahead of the caucus will make a fine president. Everyone's a winner. The Des Moines Register, everyone gets a gold star. Each would be more inclusive and thoughtful than the current occupant of the White House. Each would treat truth as something that matters. What an amazing, we are facing climate collapse. We needed a revolution years ago. Wage inequality is at an all-time high, remnant of ancient Egypt. And they're just saying, we just need someone that they care about the truth and they're better than Trump. Here we go. This is my favorite part. Each would conduct foreign policy by coalition rather than by whim and tweet. Because clearly they're all the same on foreign policy, right, Joy? One guy wants to end all the wars and talks about ending all the wars and investing that money back home. Another guy wants to send troops to Mexico. They're exactly the same.
And one guy voted against Trump's military budgets all 3 times.
Yes.
And other people voted multiple times, but I mean, same thing.
Same thing. Tomato. Some like the military budget, some don't, but they care about the truth and they'll take that passion for us. Wow. Someone published this. Somebody wrote this and said, yes, I'm proud of this. This will be on the internet forever. And I'm glad for that. This is it's like society said there could not be an endorsement any more milquetoast than the New York Times. And then Des Moines Register was like, hold our beers. We can beat this. Yeah. We can do better. We can do better. All right. So where do they even talk about? All right. So the Des Moines Register editorial board, they did this as a group, Joy. This was a group effort. Endorses Elizabeth Warren in the 2020. All right. The senior U.S. Senator from Massachusetts is not the radical some perceive her to be. Who perceive? She's a radical. She's a radical, and Tom Steyer is a fine leftist. That's like,
it's not a radical idea.
Our Overton window is so far to the right. The camera to catch it in frame hasn't been developed yet. It's so ridiculous. Like to other guys. I mean, I always say, I'm just like, look, in most parts of the world, I would just be considered like, on the left. In the US, I'm considered watch list. Like, it's ridiculous how fringe right wing our Overton window is. She wants fair markets with rules and accountabilities. She wants a government that works for the people, not one corrupted by cash. That's why she's not going to take corporate money ever. Oh, wait. No, she's totally willing to. And she said that multiple times. This is, wow. You know, the only people reading this and taking it seriously are us who are reading it to make fun of it. Like that's, Warren doesn't measure the health of the economy by looking at the stock market or an unemployment rate that doesn't count the long-time jobless or chronically underemployed. Really? Well, guess what? She's not going to be able to pull that off in the debate. That's true. The way we look at the economy is absolute nonsense because we look at how the stock market's doing and we don't measure unemployment properly. But do you think Liz Warren, I'll ask you, Joy, do you think Liz Warren would be able to get that through in the debate against Donald Trump? Or do you think that she would just get the floor mopped with her?
I think that it would go horribly well if she would try to address that with Donald. We've seen she's already capitulated to him numerous times, so he does have that above her. Yes, I support Bernie, but one of the reasons is because I feel like he is the only one who would hold his own against Trump. He asked Trump to debate him before. Trump agreed, and he backed out. So
it's so amazing to me. Did you see that thing where she was given a speech? And by the way, this was her event. This was a Liz Warren event. So it was her people there. And it was security for her. And it was a bunch of people all around her holding up signs with her freaking name on them. And then somebody yelled something out. And she just stood there like a deer in headlights. And Ayanna Pressley had to bail her out. Did you see that? Yeah. I'm sorry. Like how is that person going to beat Donald Trump? Spoiler alert, they're not.
I think one of the, I mean, I have a lot of issues with her, but one of the things that I found particularly egregious was when she met, and it's a Now This video, it's like a compilation. She met with African Americans who were formerly incarcerated, and they were sitting around the table, and they specifically asked her, what can you do for us? We think you're a good candidate, but why should we in particularly vote for you? And she proceeded to tell them how a few years ago she fought for Affordable Care Act.
Really?
I'm not sure how that's relevant to African American people.
I didn't see
lives
this.
Have been unfairly destroyed, and it was like it wasn't even digressing. It was just so random.
Even more random than all of her folksy stories that she throws out there. Like, let me tell you about my grandfather.
Yeah, Aunt B would not approve.
Wow, that's I didn't see this, but that's
pretty bad.
I'll take your word for it. It sounds like it. But yeah, this endorsement, everyone's just talking about this endorsement, and it is every single endorsement. I mean, the New York Times endorsement, which I went through and I read it on this show. I'm not going to do that again because that'd be torture for you and everybody involved, including myself. But it's basically just like, let's repeat 2016. We have learned nothing since 2016. That's if you want a summary of the New York Times endorsement, that's it. We've learned nothing since 2016. We're ready to repeat it. This endorsement is even more ridiculous. Oh, everyone gets a participation trophy. Everyone's so great.
Only if you're a woman. That's it.
Well, they didn't specify here. I mean, in their little endorsement, they just said everybody.
NYT.
Oh, NYT. Oh,
we're
yeah,
just gonna
right.
Take the two women. Even
right.
though one's at like 4%. We're just going to take the two women.
They are giving CPR to Amy Klobuchar's campaign. Amy, they are throwing a stapler down on the beating heart that is her campaign to try to keep it going. That's what they're doing. But yeah, this is wow, this is epic. I mean, it's like they don't even understand. Like this article, it's like they don't understand the point of a primary. They're just like, everyone's so great. That's not what a primary is for. In a primary, you kind of duke it out. You talk about issues and you see what appeals to the base. So that way the candidate that comes forth is the strongest candidate that has the support of the base. That's what a primary is supposed to be. We know that's not what happens in our primaries, but that's what it's supposed to be. And Des Moines Register, wow, that was epically ridiculous. Her ideas aren't radical, you guys. They're not radical. They're right. They're just right. They don't even really go into specifics, and then they just say how great everyone is because they value truth. They like good things, not bad things. But Politico, so check this out.
The article didn't talk about her selfies, I don't think, which is a huge selling point. She posts about it quite a bit.
You're right. They didn't mention her selfies, which, by the way, aren't actually selfies. It's just someone taking a picture with a phone. She really does. She comes off as she's like that really uncool aunt who you feel bad for, who they just discovered what selfies were. It's like, go say hi to your Aunt Liz. And it's like, dude, Aunt Liz never has anything interesting to say. How can you be this boring of a person? And then Aunt Liz is like, do you want to take a selfie? I just figured that. And you're like, sure, Aunt Liz. You put your arm around her, and then you just and then someone else takes it. She's like, oh, give it to so-and-so. And then you want to tell her that's not actually a selfie, Aunt Liz, but you're like, I don't want to, I'll have to talk to her longer if I do that. Shit. At my grandmother passed away about a year ago at the amazing age of 101 years old. And when she turned, rest in power. But when she turned 100, we had a big party, like you do for somebody that turns 100. And we took our first selfie. I was like, Grandma, you're going to, and it was an actual selfie. I was holding it and I took the photo. But I was like, Grandma, we're taking your first selfie. And she got a kick out of it. She laughed. She got but she was less intrigued than Liz Warren. She was more hip than Liz. My 100-year-old grandma was like, oh yeah, that's cool. That's a thing that kids can do now. She didn't pretend like she was part of a trend now. She wasn't just like, well, everyone's got to do a selfie with me. I'm a hundo. She didn't do that. She was just like, cool, good for my grandson.
Yeah, next
Liz is going
to be like, this is totally lit, fam.
Word up, kids. She's gonna bring back that Sunny Delight commercial from 1998.
Drop it like it's hot, fam.
I'm just gonna show you the jeans, fam. Oh, Liz Warren. Her endorsements are as milquetoast as she is. Beautiful. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you wanna know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you wanna know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your